No matter how meticulous you are of retirement planning, there are always going to be things you didn't adequately prepare for, or ones that you may have thought about but didn't take seriously enough. But even though you can't totally eliminate surprises in your post-career life, you may be able to prevent certain issues from causing major problems later on, or at least mitigate the potential damage. So let's take a look at two specific aspects of retirement life that new retirees often underestimate, in the hope that by understanding them ahead of time, they won't be as likely to trip you up. The first is spending. Perhaps because we hear so often that we're going to need only 70% to 80% of pre-retirement income once we retire, we often assume that our spending will drop sharply once we call it a career. And for some people that may be true, but it's not necessarily so. And in fact, while the Employee Benefit Research Institute's 2010 Retirement Confidence Survey found that almost 60% of workers said they expected to spend less in the first 5 years after retiring, actual retirees reported a quite different experience. Fully half said their spending didn't drop at all, and 14% of those whose spending didn't fall said they were spending much more. This disconnect actually makes sense. After all, you're likely to have more time on your hands once you retire, and that fact alone can translate into more spending. The second area of retirement planning that's prone to misjudgment is life expectancy. Specifically, we tend to lowball how long we're likely to live. For example, when the Society of Actuaries polled retirees and pre-retirees about life expectancy for its 2006 report on risks in retirement, it found that 67% of retirees and 61% of pre-retirees underestimate population life expectancy, most by 5 or more years. Even more problematic, the survey showed that only 29% of retirees and pre-retirees figured that they personally would live longer than the average life expectancy for the population. In fact, an individual has more like a 50% chance of outliving the averages. Put these two miscalculations together, expecting spending to drop precipitously and underestimating life expectancy, and it's easy to see why people entering retirement may not appreciate how much of a challenge it can be to make sure their savings last a lifetime. So as you plan for retirement, make sure you're not overlooking any substantive issues. You can do that by taking a look at our retirement checklist, which provides a to-do list at different stages of retirement planning. And as you get closer to retirement, be especially careful to make realistic assumptions about your spending and how long your money might have to last. The last surprise you want late in life is that you're not really as prepared for retirement as you thought you were.